So, hello once again. So, ako si Teacher Claire ug mobalik na sad ta karon mag-discuss ta about sa atong lesson sa grade 8 Mathematics. This time na nata sa atong module 2 lesson 2 which is simplifying rational algebraic expressions. So, before ta maka-simplify rational algebraic expressions, dapat mo recall usa ta unsaon pagkuha sa GCF or the greatest common factor and unsaon pag factor sa polynomials. If naglisod pa mo unsaon pag-factor sa polynomials or unsaon pagkuha sa GCF, naay videos ani na channel na naay Bisaya na version sa unsaon pag-factor sa polynomials. So pwede to ninyo tan-awon. So for our first activity, ato ning ihimo na lowest terms ang kaning tulo ka fractions na naa diri. Nya mabuhat ta na kung kaybaw ta sa ilahang greatest common factor. For 8/12, atong pangitaon ng GCF sa numerator na 8 ug sa denominator na 12. So, kumonyan ta og GCF meaning factors na pinakadako, common factor na pinakadako sa ilang duha. So, for example, factors ni 8, pwede ta mo ingon og 4 times 2. For the factors of 12, naatay 3 times 4. So, ang common nila na factor kay 4. Therefore, GCF ni nila si 4. If we reduce this fraction into lowest term, meaning si 8/12 atong i-divide by 4/4, so 8 divided by 4, makakuha ta og 2. Si 12 atos ang i-divide sa GCF na 4, makakuha ta og 3. Therefore, ang reduced form or lowest form aning 8/12 is 2/3. So, let's have the next example, 18/27. So, magunahon na ta og factors ni 18 na or numbers na kung ato i-multiply, makakuha tag 18. So, naatay 9 times 2. For 27, pwede sad ta mo multiply og 9 times 3 para makakuha tag 27. So, as you can see, ang common nila na factor is 9. So, kung ato ni silang i-divide og 9, 18 divided by the GCF na 9, makakuha tag 2. 27 divided by the GCF na 9, makakuha sad ta og 3. So, ilang lowest form gihapon is 2/3. Last example, 24/60. So, factors of 24, pwede ta mo ingon na 12 times 2 will give us 24. For 60, we can also say 12 times 5, it will give us 60. So, ang common nila na factor is 12. So, if we divide both of these numbers, ang numerator ug denominator sa GCF na 12, ay ang lowest form na makuha nato is 2/5. For an extensive or mas detalyado pa na discussion sa greatest common factor, kay ang akong gibuhat diri is shortcut naman lang, kay nahug naman lang siya na review, kindly check other videos, or if naglisod pa mo, you may contact your teachers para mas makasabot mo sa greatest common factor. Pero inaniu na siya pag-reduce sa lowest form sa fractions. Magamit nato ni later kay rational algebraic expressions, as what we have learned in the previous video, are in fraction form. Okay, the next skill na dapat natong makabaw-an before ta makasimplify og rational algebraic expressions is factoring. So, as what I've said, human na tag-discuss aning factoring. Naana nato ni sa ato ang module 1. O para sa katong mga naglibog pa, you can check the videos na akong gi-upload ani na YouTube channel for a discussion in Bisaya sa factoring. So, ato ning i-try og factor ang upat ka buok expressions or examples na naa diri. The first one is 4x squared plus 12x. So, unsa kaha na factoring method atong pwede magamit ani? The answer is common monomial factoring. So, since si 4x squared ug si 12x naa man siya common monomial factor. Common sa duha ka term. This is one term, this is another term. So, naay common na factor ang duha ka term, which is 4x. Pwede nato ni gamiton as our first factor. Now, pangitaon na to ang ikaduha na factor or another expression or number na atong i-multiply ni 4x para makakuha ta aning 4x squared plus 12x. To do that, all we have to do is divide. 4x squared divided by 4x, ang mabili na lang ana is x, plus 12x divided by 4x, ang mabilin is 3. Therefore, ang factored form aning 4x squared plus 12x is 4x times quantity x plus 3. Next example, we have x squared minus 16. So if we notice, ang duha ka terms puros squares or perfect squares. O niya, ang operation pag yun nagigamit is subtraction. Therefore, ang pwede na to gamiton ani na technique is factoring using the difference of two squares technique. So to do that, all we need to do is get the square root of the first and the second term. So pila may square root ni x squared? That is x, kay x times x is equal to x squared. Pila square root ni 16? That is 4, kay 4 times 4 is equal to 16. Now, for the signs, gamito na nato is plus and minus. The third example, we have x squared minus 8x plus 16. So, unsaon man nato ni siya pag-factor o ginani na ang mugawas. So, let us first analyze. Pwede ba nato ni siya ma-factor using the perfect square trinomial technique? So, si first term ba kay perfect square or squared ba si first term? Yes. Si last term ba kay squared? Yes, pod. So, let's try to factor this using the perfect square trinomial technique. To get the middle term sa perfect square trinomial, dapat ang middle term niya square root sa first ug sa last term, i-multiply nimo times 2 pa jud. So, again, ang square root ni x squared kay x, squared ni 16 kay 4. Kung ato na i-multiply si x ug si 4, makakuha tag 4x. Na i-multiply pa man jud og 2. So, makakuha tag 8x. Therefore, di ay kaning entire expression, pwede na to gamitan og perfect square trinomial factoring technique. And very simple ra kaayo unsaon ni pag-factor. So, get the square root ra, which is again x and 4. Copy the sign of the middle term, which is negative, then square the entire expression. So, that is perfect square trinomial factoring technique. Next one, x squared plus 6x plus 8. So, unsaon man nato ni siya pag-factor? If we analyze, dili na ni siya pwede gamitan sa perfect square trinomial. Kay, although squared si first term, si last term dili naman squared. So, this time, magkuha na siya tag factor sa atong i-analyze ug unsaon nato ni pag-factor na makakuha ta og factors na equivalent ani na i-multiply na to ma-equivalent ani na expression. So how do we do that? Again, factor the first term. Sayon ra kaayo si first term i-factor. X times x ra mahimong x squared. For the third term, maghuna-huna tag factors na sa third term na kung ato siyang i-add, makakuha siya sa value sa middle term. So, unsa may mga factors of 8? Factors of 8, pwede ta 1 ug 8. Kay 1 times 8, kay 8 man. Pwede sad ta 2 ug 4. Kay 2 times 4 is equal to 8. Now, if we analyze, asa man sa duha ang atong i-add or ato barong i-subtract na makakuha ta og 6. So, obviously, si 1 ug si 8 dito makakuha og 6 ani sa. But, si 2 ug si 4, pwede ta makakuha og 6. Therefore, ang factors na atong gamiton is 2 and 4. Unsaon na to pag-determine sa sign? To determine the sign, tan-awa usa ang last sign. Ang last sign gali positive, meaning parihag sign dapat ang duha ka factor. Pero kung negative ang last sign, meaning lahi-lahig sign dapat ang duha ka factor. In this case, positive man. So, dapat silang duha ka-factors, parehag sign. Unsa may sign na atong gamiton na dapat pareha sila? We look at the first sign or kaning nag-una na sign na gigamit, which is positive. So, therefore, ang kaning duha ka-factors should have a positive sign. So, ang factor sa ani niya, or ato ning i-factor si x squared plus 6x plus 8, ang mogawas is quantity x plus 2 times quantity x plus 4. So, nanata diri sa simplifying rational algebraic expressions. Again, atong gamiton atong scale sa pag-factor o sa pagkuha sa GCF para makasimplify tag rational algebraic expressions. So, let's have this first example. Let us simplify 21c to the power of 4 over 3c squared. So, kani siya, very simple example. So, si 21c to the power of 4, if ato siyang i-break down, kuhaon na to ang tanan niyang factors, makakuha tag 3 times 7 times c times c times c times c. Over, kung si 3c squared atong i-break down, or kuhaon na to yung factors, makakuha tag 3 times c times c. Now, analyzing this one, we can cancel out common factors sa numerator ug sa denominator para ma-simplify siya. So, usa man atong pwede i-cancel. Kuhaon na to si 3, kay pareho silang na 3. Kuha sa tag isa ka c. Kuha na sa tag laing c. Karon wala na may c na bilin sa denominator, so wala na tay pwede ma-cancel out. So, ang nabilin, for the numerator, ang nabilin is 7 times c times c. Sa denominator, if you notice, wala na yung nabilin na number. As what we've learned in our previous lesson, tanang denominator sa whole numbers is 1. So, pwede na to na siya butangan og 1. To simplify further, 7 times c, that is just 7c squared. And we can get rid of the 1. So, ang simplified form, aning 21c to the power of 4 over 3c squared is 7c squared. Okay, another example. We have here 4n minus 16 over 3n minus 12. So, if you notice, dito ka subtract or ka cancel out ni n diretsyo. Okay? Unlike ganina na may subtraction na sign. So, kung muingon ta og n times n over n, since multiplication naman ang operation sa n times n, pwede ra na to na i-cancel. But this time, na may subtraction na sign, so di ta makadiretso o cancel sa variable n. So what do we do? Let us analyze the numerator and the denominator. Pwede ba nato siyang ma-factor? And the answer is yes, pwede kayo na to siyang i-factor. So, sa may factored form sa numerator. For the numerator, makakita ta na naa si common factor, ang 4n ug ang 16. And ang iyang common factor is 4. So, using the common monomial factoring technique, we can factor this as 4 times n minus 4. So, 4n divided by 4, n lang ang mabilin. 16 divided by 4, 4 na lang sad ang mabilin. So, that is our factored form. For the denominator, the same thing is observed. Pwede gihapon na to siya ma-factor using common monomial factoring technique. So, unsa may common monomial factor ni 3n ug ni 12? Ang answer is 3. So, if we factor out 3, ang mabilin na lang, 3n divided by 3, makakuha tag n. Minus 12 divided by 3, makakuha tag 4. So, this time, since nakakuha na tag factor sa numerator o sa denominator, and we notice na multiplication na jud ang operation involved between the first factor and the second factor, the same thing is observed sa denominator. Multiplication ang operation involved sa first factor na 3 ug second factor na n minus 4, pwede na ta maka-cancel out. So, unsa may common factors nila? So, si 3 ug si 4, dili jud siya common sa. Ang common factor nila is quantity n minus 4. Therefore, pwede na to na siyang i-cancel out. So, the simplified form of 4n minus 16 over 3n minus 12 is simply 4 over 3. So, aniun na siya pag-simplify ang rational algebraic expressions. Factor ka una, then mangita ka og unsa imong pwede ma-cancel. Next example, we have p plus 5 over p squared minus 25. So again, to simplify rational algebraic expressions, factor gyud ta una. For the first polynomial or expression ang nasa numerator, di siya pwede ma-factor. Kay simplest form naman na si p plus 5. Wala naman tayo pwede mabuhatan na. So ato na siyang kopyahon. P plus 5, lagyan po na siya. For the denominator, on the other hand, pwede na to siya ma-factor. So, unsa man na factoring technique atong magamit ani? We can use difference of two squares factoring technique. So, to factor this, kuhaon na tong square root sa first term ug sa second term. Square root ni p squared is p. Kay p times p is p squared. Square root ni 25 is 5. Kay 5 times 5 is 25. Ang sign sa first factor is positive. The sign of the second factor is negative. Now, ato nga nalayso, na ba tayo pwede ma-cancel out nila? Pwede na to ma-cancel si p plus 5, quantity p plus 5, kay naaman sa p plus 5 sa denominator. And let us check unsa nalay mabilin. Sa ibabaw or sa numerator, wala na nabilin. Therefore, we will write 1. For the denominator, we can see na ang nabilin is p minus 5. Therefore, the simplified form of the expression is 1 over p minus 5. Let's have the last example. So, again, to simplify rational algebraic expressions, all you have to do, factors sa agid kauna, and then you look for factors na pwede nimo ma-cancel. So, let us factor the numerator. So, to factor the numerator, let's analyze. What are the factors of the first term? So, very easy. Factors of v squared is v and v. What are the factors this time of the last term? So, unsa man ang factors ni 49 na, or duha ka number na ito i-multiply, makakuha tag 49. Nya, hunahuna sa nato, dapat kanang duha ka number, makakuha sa tag 14 para sa iyang middle term. So, factors of 49, pwede ta 1 times 49. Murag di man jud ta kakuha anig 14 sa, kung 1 og 49 atong gamiton. So, hunahuna taglain. Pwede sa tag 7 times 7. Ang 7 plus 7, kung i-add, pwede ta kakuha 14. So, we will use 7 and 7 as its factors. Now, what are the signs of both terms? So, the sign of both terms will be positive. So, pwede sad gamito na to ang perfect square trinomial technique para mo factor aning numerator. Next, again, nasa tayo difference of two squares kay si v squared, square siya. Si 49, as what we've learned sa numerator, square sad siya. So, we can factor this using the difference of two squares factoring technique. So, all we have to do, factor the first term, which is v squared. What are the factors of v squared? Natay v and v. How about 49? What is the square root of 49? We have 7 and 7. And for the signs, we have plus and minus. Now, if we've noticed, pwede na to makancel si v plus 7 o si v plus 7. So, if we cancel that, ang mabilin na lang for the numerator is v plus 7. Ang mabilin sa denominator is v minus 7. And that is our simplest form of the rational algebraic expression v squared plus 14v plus 49 over v squared plus minus 49. So, that is how you simplify rational algebraic expressions. First and foremost, you have to factor the terms, and then you have to look for their common factors, and you have to cancel or you have to simplify. So, dapat una yun nimo i-factor ang terms. Usa ka maka simplify sa rational algebraic expressions ug dili ta magbasta-basta ug cancel sa mga letters kay tendency is kasagarang sayop sa mga students dili mo factor unya mo diretso rag cancel sa mga terms. For example, ani na example, v squared Nasa v squared sa denominator, i-cancel. Cancel sad. 49, pares lang na 49. Ya ang i-answer kay 14v na lang. So, kani siya, dili ni mao. This is wrong. Kay wala ni mo gi-factor daan ang numerator o denominator. So, dita magbasta-basta og cancel sa mga terms. Dapat i-factor sa nato siya daan, making sure na ang atong pag-factor pod sakto before ta maka-cancel so that we can simplify. And always be careful with the signs, especially kung pare-pareha ang noun sa terms na gigamit, like v plus 7 over v minus 7. Dako kay diferensya ang sign. So, always be careful sa sign na inyuhang gamiton. So, that is all for our lesson today. I hope makatabang ko ninyo sa inyuhang pag-answer sa inyuhang module. And again, if you have any questions, pangutana lang muna ko through Messenger if you are my student. Or, if not, you can comment it down below and I will try my best na maka-answer sa inyong mga pangutana. So, that is all. Goodbye and thank you!